arm wrestling technique. But before I do that, I just want to talk about administration, okay? And making things super easy in your life. This is so important for success. When you think about administration, you want to make things as easy as possible to achieve what it is you're trying to do. So, things I've done to make my life easy in arm wrestling. I have all my stuff at my house, okay? Everything that I have is part of my daily life, okay? So when I get up, I don't have to go far to start. It's easy for me to do all the things I got to do. Because if I have to get in a car, go to a gym, it's my likelihood for success in accomplishing this is going to go down. Okay, so everything you do in your training, try and design it so that it's just a really simple flow in your life. Like if you work, if you have to be in a car, if you have a doorway that you go through all the time. Try and set things up simple, okay? Arm wrestling clubs, like I don't know how far you guys travel. It's great that you come together, but the more you can make it so there's less travel and easier for people to come together, the better, okay? You want things to be simple at a low cost, because over time, if the cost doesn't make sense, it's not sustainable. So always take this into big consideration when you're planning your stuff, okay? Make everything simple in your house, right there. Design stuff this way. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about arm wrestling on the table. What I think arm wrestling is, and you guys can ask me questions. So arm wrestling to me is really about two ideas. It's really about two ideas. It's about moving forwards or moving backwards. This is the base division. It's about running away or coming at a person. What running away is it's about efficiency. It's about attacking weakness. It's about being more efficient. It's about using more musculature when a person's using less musculature. You want people to reach for you in this game. Okay, shoulder moving backwards. It's about height. All right. When I start to think about outside arm wrestling, I always try and think that the person can't quite grab me, and it starts off with height. Okay, this upwards drive. Okay, this ability to rise up. If both people rise and the one person is higher up, eventually it's like just putting chips and chips and chips on a table. Whoever eventually is higher up, right away everything will crumble and you'll be able to beat the person easily. It's about denial of grip, and so much of denial of the grip is in the thumb. Okay, so when you're arm wrestling, if you can make the person reach for you, see my thumb, how my thumb is open. If my thumb is closed, okay, the person takes a grip. Okay, they get really exactly where they want to get, and so much of how you know a person's got a good grip is when you look at the finger. Okay, see my finger is right by his knuckle. His finger's pretty good too. Pretty good, okay? Now, if I take a grip again and I really focus on keeping my palm really open, okay, let's grip up, okay? Right away, it's like you can't almost, right? It's like you can't do it.
Yeah.
Right? And if I even do one step further, if as I come in and open my palm, put it up, as he takes a grip, I kind of supinate a little bit and hide, okay? And I'd be like, get your elbow on the pad, right? Like, so if we're down, right, and if I kind of hide, see, it's a denial, right? You deny the grip, and you deny it by lifting your thumb up. Lifting your thumb up, keeping your hand high, it makes it very hard for the person to get that spot that they so desperately want, okay? Right?
Do you train that, Devon? Do you train that movement with the thumb?
I used to train this motion. I think that you could do it probably more than what I do. I do train supination. The thumb is like, it's a part of it. Now, a lot of it at the higher level, like when you get really serious, you're going to move towards an integrated system where you're both running and you're doing the next part, which I'll talk about in a bit, which is the inside game, and you're very quickly switching between the two. And the thumb is like, while it is a big part of the reaching game, like the real scary part that you're kind of using is the shoulder and this ridge, okay? I think that the thumb is probably less important, so I don't spend as much time on it, but you absolutely could. You really could. If you got like stronger here, like you see some guys who have like, I don't have it, but like there's a band that comes over here, and I think it's from the thumb lift. Like if you see old pictures of Cobra, he has this band that comes over here, and I think it's this movement, okay? Yeah, so this is outside. This is like the beginning of outside arm wrestling mentality. It's like denial of grip, okay? Being high up, making the person reach for you. And it has to do so much with your thumb, okay? And I call it big thumb theory, right? Big thumb. You make your thumb so big, and the person can never reach around it the way they want, right? My thumb is massive. And I just be like, try and take a grip, right? And I just always hide, right? And I'm like, keep his elbow down, right? And as I play there, right? So he kind of has to settle. Now, one of the things you can do is you can play this game right back to a person. You both never grip. You both stay there, but you have to have the faith that you're not going to feel anything. Neither one of you is going to feel anything. You're both invisible, okay? Neither one of you is reaching, and you're both going to hit into nothingness. And you have to have the faith that eventually when you either get something, get some kind of bite, or a slip, go strap, and then in the straps, that you're going to have the higher hand position when it finally does come under tension. And this is big thumb theory, okay? The next, and in this style, in this outside style, most of the time your shoulder is coming backwards, and you can see like when a person's doing this style, so much the shoulder on the drive is going to come back just a little bit. It's an outside style. You're pulling the person away, okay? All right, the other half of this, we don't have like something to write on or anything, do we?
Yes.
Yeah, do we have something? It's just a simple way to kind of, as I'm talking about this. Yeah. Beautiful. Okay, so let's draw a little hill. Okay. Yeah. Nice hill here. I don't know. Is this working? A little bit. It's moist here, eh? It's moist. Okay. Okay. I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't know if my hill design is gonna work. So I feel like arm wrestling is mostly like this. It's more complicated, but this is a good place to start. You can go inside, and this is outside. Okay, so in the middle, this is like this line here, the very top of arm wrestling. In my opinion, and it depends on the arm wrestler. Everybody has a middle to their game, but I think for most people, the middle is defined by posting for the most part. Post, okay? Post is like the middle of the arm wrestling game, and at the top of this, it starts to kind of decide which side of the hill you're going down on. Now, when you talk about running away, when you talk about shoulder moving back, okay, this side is shoulder moving back. Okay, so it's running away from the table. Okay, you're running far away. You're going to start to attack the person's fingers. Okay, so that's your main target, is fingers. Okay, so the main target for outside arm wrestling is the person's fingers. You're going to do like a super high top roll, all the way down to like, low hand or high bottom, whatever you want to call it, all the way down to a king's move. Okay, the king's move is like the outer ridges of arm wrestling as we know it. Okay, it's like fully committed to like an outside move. Michael Todd, yeah, that's Crazy George. But it's all outside arm wrestling. It's like as far out, like you're giving away almost all the components to a hard counter outside. And then inside arm wrestling, you're coming forward. You're coming forward at a person. And so much of this is about the root of this whole thing is shoulder commitment. Okay, shoulder commitment is the king of this whole side. But it starts off, the highest portion of this is like a high hook. High hook is like the very top of the inside pyramid. Okay, you go lower, then you start to, you're pressing all the way down to a flop. Okay, a flop is like your most committed, really, inside move. And this is kind of what the arm wrestling hill looks like. The person who controls the top of the hill controls the technical flow. This side, thumb big. This side, okay, thumb small. Okay, I'll show you a little bit what thumb small looks like. So when you're talking about the mentality of outside arm wrestling, you want the person to reach for you. You want the person to chase you. You're coming over the top. Inside arm wrestling, you're past the person. Okay? Like you talk about inside arm wrestling, all this stuff, like so much of arm wrestling is about being strong. And you're never going to get past that. And being strong is, geez, if you can get stronger, get stronger. But you want to understand arm wrestling too. So much of technical arm wrestling is just tricks and beating the person to the spot. Okay? Mario, come on up here.
God damn it.
Okay?
I'm enjoying
Mario is super strong, okay? Super strong.
So good, boys.
Okay, so when you're arm wrestling and you think that you're gonna go inside on a person, okay? Arm wrestling is very much about balance. You want to control the whole top of the hill. You want to control both sides of the hill. You want the person to be reaching for you, but you want to have inside stuff too. Because if a good arm wrestler is facing you and you just show this whole inside thing, there's ways that they can start to trump you with the inside game and make your outside kind of get boxed into a smaller and smaller part of the hill. You want to control everything. Okay? The way you control the inside half is by being past the person. So much of efficiency in the inside game is just this one line, okay? It's a line that the shoulder and the hand makes. Okay? Right now you see Mario has his shoulder and his hand, that line cuts into my arm. Okay? This is better. My shoulder and my arm angle, it points towards his body. So mechanically, if we both slowly bring our shoulders forward, both slowly, it just gets worse and worse and worse for me. Keep bringing it forward, keep bringing it forward, keep bringing it and he's beat me to the spot. And there's going to come a time when he's beaten me. He's beaten me. He's got me tucked under, and he's beaten me to the spot, and there's nothing I can do. It's just a matter of bones and the way they line up. So you want to beat a person to that spot. You want to beat a person to that angle because anytime you're the first one, if they ever try and regain it, you can just continue to move forward, and it actually just makes it worse and worse and worse and worse for them. Okay, so the way you do that is, if I think that I have any inside component to somebody in an arm wrestling match, I'll start to talk to them like this, and like even on handshakes, you're like, hey, Mark, good to see you, man, right? You're already starting to throw that thing at them, okay? Now the real strength in the inside drive is, so you're way up here, it's this. This is where the strength is. This connection, okay? Like, I come high, right? I come high, and what I want to do is I want to come down on you, okay? Right? So you reach up, yeah, and you got your line. Yeah, that's it, right?
And come right down.
Yes, right? Because it's not about your fingers. Good inside arm wrestling, you're hiding your fingers. You're hiding them. And you want the person only to feel this ridge. In both styles of inside and outside arm wrestling, this angle is vital at the beginning. You'll see in a lot of forms of outside arm wrestling that guys are arm wrestling like this. You'll see guys with really dominant hands a lot. They're going to arm wrestle like this. That's because they already have the top of the arm wrestling pyramid covered off. And what they're doing is, instead of rising with the top, they're actually continuing to rise with the lower part, but they already have the top controlled, okay? But this height protects your hand. And it's always important to protect your weakness. Weakness is your fingertips in any style, okay? So, small thumb. So, if I'm setting up, and if I want to make sure that I have good depth, because depth is what's important for this inside style, I tuck my thumb low, okay? Now what this does, so if we have to take a grip, right? If I keep this high and deep,
yeah, I've got to come right in.
Right? Now we could say wrist straight, wrist straight. Now what happens when I keep my thumb low is, to get a fair grip, it's going to be hard if he's pulling out. It's going to be hard for him to maintain a high angle, see? Because he'll cover my thumb knuckle. So it's one thing to run with the high hand. If you run with the high hand, you start to make your thumb bigger. If you come in, you make your thumb smaller so that the person has to drop. Okay? You try that. Yeah. That's it, right? I have to come down to you.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
It's just a super simple idea. It's the most simple thing. If you push at somebody with the high hand, and all you say to the referee is thumb knuckle, thumb knuckle, thumb knuckle, and they have to lower. And just that process of lowering can be big time to your advantage. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so this is kind of like, so big thumb, little thumb, running away, shoulder forward, shoulder back. Eventually matches stop, okay? The whole thing about being a good arm wrestler is you need to be able to move both forward and back. Like, people talk about great arm wrestlers, okay? Somebody name me a great arm wrestler. John Brzenk. Okay. John Brzenk is a great example because he can go anywhere here. He can go anywhere. But even John Brzenk is a guy who actually, like, when you think about where is John happiest? In the hook. I think so too. Okay, now John can arm wrestle anywhere. You watch John Brzenk videos, you see John top rolling, you see John hooking, but honestly, John spends most of his time in this top part of the pyramid. Never do you really see John down in these King's Move portions where he's giving away his wrist. And you don't see him a lot in the flop. He does at times, but John does the whole pyramid, okay? And this is one of the things you know about a great arm wrestler, okay? They have the ability to move their shoulder forward, move their shoulder back. I'd say John's most comfortable place is probably with his wrist bent somewhere, okay? But then once it stops, you'll see his shoulder come forward, you'll see his shoulder come back, and this process of shoulder forward, shoulder back crosses over the top. And arm wrestling a lot is like King of the Hill, okay? So, don't move, ready, go. You got Mr. Star and you got Mr. Square, okay? Okay? And the match is stopped right here. One guy is like a little bit more outside and the other guy's a little bit more inside, and they're struggling. Whoever can in the match kind of come back up, and if I've stopped the match in a hook, okay, if I can somehow start to reestablish top row pressure, very good chance I'm gonna win. If I've stopped the match in a top roll, if I can get a hook in and then top roll, very good chance I'm gonna win. Even somebody name another great arm wrestler. Cobra Rhodes, perfect. Okay, where's Cobra happy?
Top roll.
Top roll, right? Yeah. Cobra is taking everybody in a top roll. Cobra right away has hand control on almost everybody, and he breaks their wrist back. And then Cobra moves into, like, you watch Cobra arm wrestle, bang, okay? Cobra doesn't continue to run away. As soon as Cobra has hand control, he starts to move forward into exploding hand technique, right? So he pops the hand right away. As soon as he gets the match stopped, he starts to edge into the other half of the pyramid. Okay, he starts to move forward. Every great arm wrestler, almost even so, you think about a guy like Jerry Carteret. Okay, Jerry Carteret is way down here. Jerry Carteret is known for being a presser, being a hooker. But even when Jerry is flopped in, you see him trying to come up. You see Jerry Carteret a few years ago at UAL, that arm wrestling event down at Venice Beach. He ended up beating John in a top roll at the end. Okay, he top rolled out of his flop. Michael Todd, King's move. How often does he finish in a King's move? No, he always, by the end of the match. Exactly. So, just whatever it is you do, there's this thing about intimacy. You want to hurt somebody, you be close to them, right? Be just higher than them, okay? So that they can't come back up the hill. You control the top of the hill, okay? They come over it. They can't do it because you've already beat them to the spot. They try and go down. You've already beat them to the spot, and then you just box their options down and increase your options. It's a little bit difficult to explain.
A little bit about Underwood. You had a hard
Underwood?
time. Underwood, yeah. You had a hard time with that guy.
I did have a hard time with Underwood, but I definitely got some payback many times. Yeah, Arnold Classic. I think Underwood pinned me about here. I feel like it was don't move, ready, go, and it was here. Now, in Arm Wars, that guy got the best draw in the world. I had Richard Lovekeys, then I had Tim Bresnan, and then I had Underwood. He had one match with Yoshi Kanai. He blew his bicep off, and then he messed around with Travis Bajan for a couple matches, and they called it, and then I had him fresh. So yeah, that was a hard night for me. But Game of Arms, I smeared him into a paste. And if he wants to pull me again, I'm going to crush him.
Do you believe his explosiveness was the thing that you struggled with the most?
Yeah, I've always struggled with explosiveness. I think that, and that's just a genetic thing, I think, for the most part. I think we're all different. I don't think that I'm blessed with great explosiveness. When you talk about my peer group, I don't think I'm sluggish, but at the same time, when you think about elite arm wrestlers, most of them got more twitch than me. So in the past, a lot of things that I've had to do was work on, ways to extend things, ways to draw things out, and that's just the thing about being good at arm wrestling. You have to tailor the game to your own gifts. You have to really understand who you are, what you have to work with, and adopt a style that makes sense for you to succeed. Yeah. For me, that meant, rules changed throughout the years, but when I started, we didn't have the set grip. So that really let me fight a lot before they said go. The rule system now is different. It's a bit limiting, but in super matches, what it means for me is typically I'll never pin a person. Typically, because I know that my greatest risk is at the beginning, and the longer I can extend a match, the greater my chance for victory in subsequent fights. But yeah, it depends. You have to adjust your strategy to your opponent. Yeah.
How do you train for referees grip?
You should always think that referee's grip and straps is inevitable. Okay? It's the end of the road for arm wrestling. And know that you will most likely go there because one of the two of you will want it to go there. And it's very hard to stop this process from happening. So you should always assume high-level arm wrestling is referee's grip and in the straps. You can't really training arm wrestling in a referee's grip is the same as arm wrestling out of a referee's grip. There's really very little difference. The thing is you always want to maintain a flexible mind. Okay, so a lot of times when you arm wrestle, you have a plan, and this is good. But at the same time, you want to be very present in the moment. Okay, you're gonna feel things in that referee's grip, even though they say there's no movement in a referee's grip, there's no pressure in a referee's grip. Anybody who spent time at the arm wrestling table knows that might not be exactly true. And take advantage of the subtle pressures that you may feel. Control the center of the table. Get to your spot and try and negotiate in a subtle way to get what you need. Well, arm wrestling is a negotiation. The grip is very much something that's not really set until you make it so between your opponent and the referee. I'm a big advocate these days for pushing a concept called consent. I'm a big believer in consent in everything that we do in life, and I think that everybody is super happy when we've both agreed. And when it comes to using a referee, there's always somebody who's upset. So I think that we should start to move to a system where we have buttons and we're both like, okay, you're good, I'm good, okay, referee just says go. But we're not there yet. I think that the thing to remember is just a very powerful thing you have is your voice, okay? And don't try not to start matches unless you actually feel happy. Don't get abused, right? So you have to use your voice. You have to talk, you have to say what it is because people will listen to you. Yeah.
How do you not annoy ref though?
That's the thing, right? You have to think the same. How do you get what you want? How do you talk to people and get what you want? It's the same thing when you talk to a referee. You want to. Referees are people. You have to treat them with a certain but people are different, and you have different strategies, and it's about having fun too, and sometimes it's about putting on a show, and you have to balance all these things into making your decision on how you're gonna act or get what you want from a referee. I think a really good strategy is be a good person and be polite. I think for the most part, this is probably going to be your best long-term strategy. Have a good relationship with referees. Talk to referees. Talk to them before. How you doing? You don't want the first time you have a discussion with somebody, you don't want the first time to be in this high-pressure situation at a table where everybody's feeling pressure. The first time, like if I want to get anything from you, I would much rather break the ice before we go into it, right? So one of the good things to do is you're going to a tournament, and you don't have to kiss the person's ass or be douchey about it, but you can just say, hey, how you doing? How are things? Blah blah. Good to see you again. Good luck today. That way at least the first time you open your mouth to them, you're not yelling at them and looking like you're a horrible human being. But I think just think about good communication. Good communication is gonna give you good payback. Yeah. I think the most powerful thing you can say on the arm wrestling table is just wrist. Just go straight nose wrist. Say wrist a million times, and who knows, maybe it'll happen. Yeah.
Do you ever settle with the grip?
Oh, I settle all the time. Yeah, I settle constantly. Yeah, you got many factors, okay? In a tournament, I settle quite a lot. I'll settle quite a lot. Because in a tournament, you may be, you don't know where you fit in, okay? Say there's this many competitors in your bracket that you're going to face. And you fit in here, okay? Now, I know that this guy right here, I can take just about any grip I want with them, and I'm probably going to be okay. And I don't want to mess around. I don't want to waste energy. I don't want to be gripping up and doing all this stuff. I don't want to do it. It's just going to take cookies out of my cookie jar, okay, that I need for later, okay? So when I get to the table with this person, if they want to be all crazy and mess around, I might just be like, just put us in a set grip, okay? And even at that point, if they have like a grip and I feel like halfway, I might just settle and be like, yeah, just say go. And just get it done, because it's about energy and it's about efficiency through an event, okay? And you don't want to have to fight forever with every single person.